Bless
So,
them.
I'm a cheerful bunch, isn't
Well,
he?
you've got to understand. I mean, my brother was very dead set against there being anything after death. Death is the end of it. That's that. It's finished. It's over and done with. And I'm going. It seems like such a waste of time.
Mm.
We're not born to pay bills and to watch television and eat cream cakes and then die. I mean, what's the point? There's no point in it. And
No.
I believe in a natural um, evolution, a natural. We're going from one place to another, and just because we can't see where we're going, where we're heading, and what we're doing, it doesn't mean to say there isn't a greater meaning for it, which
No.
is a my brother was very a control person, and I am very let go of the reins and just see what happens. I've said things, said things to people before now. In my head, I've gone, say that, see what happens. So I say it, and it goes off, and I think, right, I won't say that again. So I'm like a walking experiment. I'm constantly thinking and delving deeper, and my mind is it works at about 5,000 miles an hour. It really does, and I have to keep it busy, otherwise it does really start getting me down because I worry about something that I've said. I think I said this to you before. So worry about something I said to somebody 25 years ago. So I have to keep my mind busy.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I get little computers and I build this and I build that, and my wife calls it a project. Oh, you got another project? So, all right, okay. Then I have to keep these things going. So this, when I started researching all this Da Vinci stuff, it really fitted in with my mind because it just kept it busy.
Hmm. That's what the YouTube was for me. Pretty much was to keep me busy because I was looking after my son.
Hmm.
Sort of started off like ideas to make videos, but I thought to myself, no, I don't know how to do it and all that. And he went, yeah, it was a calling, it was, but I'm not going to go into that now. And when I started making the videos, it was such a relief. I thought, oh, this is what I meant to do. This, and it just come from there, you know. It was like,
Yeah,
yes, this is what I'm here for, and it just started off as an idea, you know. It is now when I
it,
look back at it, I can see it was, call it what you want, your higher self, whatever it was. It was just them delicately, just like putting a worm out there, a fishing rod,
yeah.
just look over this way, look over that way. Start thinking about it, and I started resisting. No, no, come on, you could be doing this, you could be doing that. And then when I was hooked on it, that was it. Then there was no looking back, and that was it.
Well,
But
I've come across a few situations very similar to that, but years and years and years ago, I used to run a mobile disco company on my credit card. So I had £9,000 worth of debt on this card years and years ago. This was 30 odd, 40 odd years ago when I first started. And I'd built the debt up through buying equipment. And then one day I just woke up and I went, oh, now, do you know what? I'm going to pay that off. I'm going to pay that off for the credit card. And then it went 6 months later down the line, I see a news report that obviously it was a slow news day, and they made this report up about more people are now paying this particular credit card off than ever before. They're now paying it off more than ever before, and I thought that's a bit weird. It's almost as if I had this push to do this, and I didn't
mm,
know where it came from. And recently as well, another one recently, my wife said to me about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, she said, do you know what? It might be a good idea if we get rid of the bath and put a shower in. So I said to her, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do something like that? She said, I don't know. He said, I prefer having showers than I do baths. And I just think it would be a nicer, better idea. And then about 6 weeks ago, this was, at the radio station that I do the breakfast show on, I was listening to the news, and the news read a report out that more people are getting rid of their baths and putting showers in than ever before. And I went, do you know what? This is really weird. It's just as if our lives are not our own, and
mm,
we're going down this path that's been set out for us. and there's, we're being directed and pushed, and every time this happens, it fits in with everything that I've found, that we're all just animals. We're all like puppets. We're just doing what we're told to do, basically. We all think we've got the brain. We've got when you come across intelligence, intelligent people understand the fact that they're not really in control, whereas semi-intelligent people think that they're in control of everything. So, it just, we're not in control. We're not in control at all. This thing is driving itself virtually, and we're just a puppet.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Well, I was talking about Vince and all them on there with Bob Dub, and they talk about what is it, determinist, and then there's supposed to be soft determinism and hard determinism.
Yeah.
And I listen to what they say, but then I also think, I'm like, there's a certain level to everything. Like, you can't say that you have free will over everything, because first of all, there's you, there's John, there's me, there's freaking everybody else in the world. Okay, what your views and how you do things don't jive with me. You know what I mean? Because we all do things in a different way. So I don't have control over situations where it concerns us three interacting together. You know what I mean? Because you're going to want something a certain way. John's going to want something a certain way. And that's just the way it is. That has nothing to do with spiritual or anything else. That just has to do with people interacting with one another,
Yeah.
And I think people forget that they don't understand it on a real life level. You know what I mean? Like, living a real life, doing real things, you realize that you have to interact with other people. And when you're interacting with other people, you might as well take that control bullshit and just throw it out the freaking door, because it's not going to work. And I mean, that's the one thing that always sticks out to me. It's like there's no real reality when it comes to these philosophers, because they get stuck in their head, start thinking, and they're thinking and they're thinking and they're thinking, and it's just in their head. It's not real life, So
yeah,
I always try to keep that in mind whenever I listen to them, because I know there's theory, and then there's freaking fact. It's like science, okay? Like you have the scientist, and then you have an engineer, okay? The scientist comes up with the freaking theories, and then the engineer is telling him, no, that's not going to work. You're an idiot. This is how you do it. You know what I mean? But if you take a look at it, everybody always looks at the scientists like they're so much better, you know what I mean? And they kind of look down on the engineer. But in reality, it's the engineer that makes things happen, you know?
Right. That's right, 100%.
So
if you look back...
That's just...
Go on, sorry.
That's just my point of view on things is all.
When you look back on time, science is we're almost treading over old ground. They're coming up with theories that were described as fact thousands of years ago because of the use of this dimethyltryptamine drugs. So they go, oh, this is our theory on the world. Well, no, hang on a minute. This particular person in time, 3,000 years ago, said this, and now you're just coming to the conclusion that, well, yeah, no, we're getting facts now to prove that. Well, he said it. He's been there. He's done it. And that's the way. I think it was Leonardo da Vinci. Was it da Vinci? No, it wasn't da Vinci. Can't remember who said it now. That if the minute science, it might have been Tesla, the minute science starts looking into these unseen forces, it will make so many leaps forward faster than it's ever done before. Yeah, that was the gist of it, saying if when science starts to look properly into the occult, if you want, it will start to prove it, and we'll take a lot of leaps forward. And I personally think, because this year is supposed to be a very revealing year, I think it's it's an evolutionary step that we're going through that was predicted by the Mayans and what have you since 2012. It's the return of Mother Nature. That's the second coming, as far as I'm concerned. It's the return of the original faith where we've got to love Earth. And I think this is an evolutionary step we're going through where we'll all suddenly come to the same conclusion that, hang on a minute, this is not working the way we've been doing things, so we've got to change our ways. Because if you look at recycling and electric cars, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, even the protesters just stop oil and save the whale and ban the bomb, and there's been loads over the years. And when you look into the 60s in the UK, I think this was quite large in America as well, you had the flower power. Well, these people were taking LSD and particular drugs that contained dimethyltryptamine, and they were coming off it and saying, right, that's it, we've got to ban the bomb, we've got to save the whale. And it was, you look back on that almost laughing, because they're classed as hippies or druggies, but no, that's what they're doing, is they're telling us, they're actually telling us, and we in our stupidness, if you like, we think they're wrong and they're druggies, so we're writing them off. We should have listened. We should have listened. We'd have been going through this stage 60 years ago. We should have listened to them. They were right. Everything they saw and everything they said, they were right. So, but we do. We think we're far more intelligent than we are. We think we're the most intelligent animal on the earth, and you've only got to look at dolphins. I went to Florida recently with the family, and we swam with dolphins, and they are amazing creatures. Amazing. Far more intelligent than we ever have given them credit for. Whales as well. Whales have been known to communicate with each other over hundreds of miles. You know, but even birds, you look at birds, and they're all making particular geometric shapes in the sky. They all know what time of year to fly north and to warm up. We've written off nature because of our conceited opinion of the earth and Mother Nature. We think we're the most intelligent. We're not in the slightest. We think we're we're in charge of these animals. We're the top of the tree. We're not. And I think we're just becoming to this. We're just getting to this point in evolution where we're beginning to understand it a little bit, to be honest with you. Hello, I think everyone's left me. Are we still there?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I had to go and let my dog out.
That's all right. I thought, hello, I've fallen asleep again.
I didn't want to interrupt you mid-flow, so I just tried to sneak off quickly. If you ever see my camera go off, that means I'm leaving the room just for a few seconds.
Yeah, we're not the most intelligent creature at all. We're just so conceited.
Yeah. Funny enough, you should say about the whales. We had a humpback whale came into the Fishguard Bay, a young one, a few days ago, and it's never happened, as far as we know, in history ever. And he came in there, and loads of people got videos of it. It's like everyone that saw it was like, said it was a humbling experience to see him. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, and I saw the videos of it. And it's like, wow, what the hell is going on for this to happen here? This is something's going on. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't get humpback whales in Wales, so to speak. It shouldn't happen.
We're changing. We are changing.
Something's going on, and it's just so special to see the videos of him. It's so special, it's like a once in a lifetime thing. You're never going to probably see that again, But
when my son was born, me and my wife took him round to the grandparents, and the grandparents have got two cats. One was a very timid cat, didn't want to get into any sort of like problem, and the other cat was in control. It was the alpha cat. So we went round there, And the alpha cat was male and the timid cat was female. Went round there with my son, and my wife sat on the seat, and the cat come up, kept putting her paw on, because he was crying at a particular time because he was hungry, kept putting her paw on my son's back of my son's hand, and it looked like she was going, "It's okay, there." And I'm looking at this, I'm going, this is fascinating. It wasn't a nasty thing. It was very soft and gentle. It was Mother Nature at work. And then all of a sudden, the other cat, the male cat, decided to approach, and the timid cat turned on the male cat and chased him off, and then come back and put a hand on the back of his hand again. That's all right. And I'm looking at this going, this is fascinating. I wish I'd have videoed this. That was just the most amazing thing ever. This matriarchal urge in all of us, the male and female, especially the female, this urge in all of us is coming to the forefront. It's coming to the surface. And I think that's what the change is. We're understanding. We're becoming to question. And perhaps all this subject is going to go on, because not Armageddon. Armageddon comes from Armaguido, which is a fortified hill. But apocalypse. Everyone keeps saying that it's the beginning of the apocalypse. Apocalypse actually means lifting of the veil, or the thinning of the veil, revealing of the truth. And that's what we're going through an apocalypse. We're seeing things the way we've never seen them before. And in the UK, we're trusting members of Parliament less and less and less every week.
You can't blame them, can you?
No, some of the tricks that they've pulled is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never known a government. Don't get me wrong; it's probably always gone on, but to be almost upfront about how crooked they are, I've just never known it ever. They just don't care. It's like they're arrogant to think, "Oh, we're fine, we're in charge, we're fine. We'll just, throw some tax rebates out just before the election, and everyone will support us again for another 4 years or whatever." That's how they think.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It is, but it's becoming more and more, and it's ever since the expenses thing.
Yeah.
That they were claiming for bath plugs. What's that got to do with bath plugs? Why would you do that? 79 pence. Why would you put that on expenses, other than the fact that you can dodge paying for it? It's silly. Ever since that, though, and especially the ones that were caught swindling the expenses. Not all of them were swindling expenses, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's terrible. But ever since that point, people have started trusting them less and less and less.
You said about the second coming, it's like a re-emergence of nature. So I can't remember exactly how you worded it. Did you say it was something about something happening this year? Were you linking it to that, or do you mean something else that's happening this year? You said something about that.
Well, this particular year, more than anything else, a lot of mediums are saying that this is going to be a big year. Things are going to start happening this year, 2024. Right. When I looked into the Mayan prophecies, which said that there's going to be a change from and I've probably got the wrong words now. They said time goes through certain groups of ages, 4,968 or something like that years each group, and it goes through 5 groups, and then it starts again. Well, it goes back to the golden times, the times of that the pharaohs were in, presumably when the pyramid was actually built, not this 2,500-year-old fairy story that we're told about the pyramid. But they've said that the ending of the last Bactum, if I've got the right word, I can't even remember the right word for it, was December the 21st, winter solstice 2012. Then things are going to turn. Things are going to go back to the way they used to be, which is our understanding of nature. And when you look back through the past 12 years, it's gone exactly like that. Yes, there has been more volcanoes erupting and tsunamis, and all over the past 12 years, we have more recycling's done now than ever before. electric cars are showing, everyone's putting solar panels on their roof, and we're gradually going back to understanding that you can't keep abusing the soil that you're standing on, because one day that soil's not going to be there anymore and you've got nowhere else to go.
Mm.
You should have understood this 60, 70 years ago. We'd be okay by then. They should have listened to Nikola Tesla. We'd have been fine by now if we'd have listened to him, because he wanted free energy for everybody with his Tesla tower, built on what he said was going on in the Great Pyramid. But yeah, this is the Mayan prophecies prophesized a return to Mother Nature. That was how I put it in the book that was released before December the 21st, 2012. It's a return to Mother Nature, and that's what we're going through now.
Because I've been shown a huge awakening, spiritual awakening, where I've been shown it's going to happen. I don't know when. I think this year, but I don't know for sure. I can't be 100% about it. I just know it's going to happen. I've been shown different signs, and that it's going that way.
Yeah.
And I also notice, because I feel I've got a strong connection with my higher self, or whatever you call it, or nature, whatever it is you call it, whatever. As I'm getting further along this path, I feel that I'm getting closer to nature in a sense, and it's almost, I'm from a Christian background, but it's almost like I'm listening to what you're talking. It's almost like I'm becoming more to the way of thinking that the pagans' way of thinking is the way I'm going, and it's like I've never thought of myself as that, but I'm going every direction I'm going towards seems to be going to that direction. So it's making me question, like, well, what's going on? Like, in a sense, in a good way, but I can just see that it's going that way, for me.
Yeah.
So there we go. I think Roger's.
I've had a weird experience with all that, and like when it comes to like global warming and climate change and everything, I've got my issues with that on the way people are dealing with it, because it's turned more into control methods, like we were talking about earlier, and you said something that was key. You said Mother Earth and the soil. Okay. And nobody's focusing on that when it comes to all this environmental climate change and stuff like that. They're focusing on everything else, but they're not worried about the earth. Like, if you want to know how much damage has been done, go out to your backyard, pick freaking the corner of your yard, and just dig down 4 foot. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you'll find something that's freaking horrible in the dirt in your own backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why I found that out was because I did my gardening. I went out and I tilled the soil in my yard, and I've done quite a bit of my yard that way, so I know how much garbage has been under the soil for the last at least 100 years. You know what I mean? Just complete garbage where people didn't even care. They used to burn their trash out there and stuff like that. You had burn holes. It was a different way of life, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't make it any different. We were still damaging the earth, and people have been doing this stuff since they were able to build the first cities, so that's the thing that gets me. I mean, if you want to take care of the planet Earth, you need to look at the Earth, and the damage that's being done there, and these aquifers. People like to, they like to talk about the aquifers, but they don't want to talk about why we have droughts in Denver, Colorado. You know what I mean? The reason why is because they're allowing farmers to freaking use these pesticides again after the Dust Bowl, mind you. And they're putting these pesticides on their plants, and then they're allowing them to use the water from this underground aquifer, which is actually the largest one on the face of the planet. Okay. And they're allowing the farmers to tap into that aquifer and feed their plants. Well, that poison from the freaking pesticides is going down into the aquifer and it's depleting.
Yeah.
but they want to say that that's caused from deforestation, from the trees and the ice and the snow from the mountains coming down. But they don't want to mention the fact that they're allowing farmers to poison their soil, And I think that's the one thing people need to start noticing, and focusing on the earth. Stop focusing. I remember how much pollution there was back in the 80s whenever it came to freaking. I lived in Phoenix, and I remembered it was just a big old black cloud, and it's not like that anymore. It is to an extent, but not like it used to be, and I didn't like that. Now that needed to go away, but I didn't have to freaking say that the entire earth was going to freaking go dry and everybody was going to be without water, and stuff like that, because I want freaking pollution to end. So I I have my issues when it comes to all that, like the control stuff and politics in it. I really I really don't like the idea of politics being involved when it comes to the environment and the earth, because I'm big on that stuff too when it comes to nature and not destroying what we've got, because people really don't understand how fragile this planet really is. It's actually it is a living being, and they don't realize that they don't understand the concept of life. You know what I mean? Life isn't just human beings with a conscience.
No.
Life is the freaking grass, it's trees, it's the animals, it's all of it. This is life. The planet
Well,
Earth itself, the planet Earth is so far is the Garden of Eden, because there's no other planet like this planet. You know, so I'll shut up now.
we're all part of consciousness. What you see, what we all call reality, is just a visualization of consciousness. So, and this is what people. There's a famous phrase I can't quite get my head around now. It says, people follow a religious leader. Yeah, something a religious leader, without realizing, and then pull down trees. They follow a religious leader. They pull down trees. They build on land without realizing the nature that we're destroying is actually the religious leader that they should be following. So we've been going in the wrong direction all this time, and I've got that jumbled up there. So please, I'm really sorry about that. It was a lovely quote. I've just messed it right up. But yeah, we've got to follow nature. Paganism, when you look at the statistics, paganism is on the rise, and all the rest of the organized religions following them is dropping. I haven't looked into all of them, just some of them, but the attendance is dropping. But paganism is on the rise, and I don't think when you look back in time, pagans were, they were sacrificing this one and that one and all the rest of it. That's not where I want to go. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go down that route. Call me old-fashioned if you will, but I think that their belief system, the mother nature element, and looking after the earth and looking after the trees, and I think they hit the nail on the head. They got it right. They had it right back then. So paganism, without all the nasty stuff, is spot on as far as I'm concerned. I would class myself as pagan, and I was brought up a Christian, not heavily religious Christian, but I was brought up a Christian. But now I would class myself as a pagan, purely for this reason.
Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention too. Like whenever I done my research in archaeology and stuff like that, there's a fact that nobody seems to catch on to, and it has to do with the human's teeth. Okay, and this is weird, I know, but did you know that before humans started gardening and creating crops, when they were hunter gatherers, and before then, not one of them ever had signs of cavity?
Oh,
They're,
really?
they're, they Yeah, they have never found artifacts of a human skull with cavities in their teeth to this day. Every
Wow.
single one of them had perfect teeth. It was when we started gardening and eating vegetables that we started getting cavities.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that was the last thing I wanted to bring up.
I mean, there's a lot of people that think we should stop eating meat because of I don't know, the ozone layer or the environment and breeding cows and getting so many cows and with their flatulence, it's causing a problem and all that. We've been eating meat since the year dot. It was the only thing virtually the only thing that was about at one point. So the cavemen used to just go and I'm just nipping out for a buffalo, love. I won't be long. And then he'd bring back the buffalo. And then the wife would feather the nest, and it's the male and female of the species. That's the way they operate through the birds and animals and everything. So I could, if I've always said, if it was down to me having to kill the animal to eat, I would probably become a vegetarian. But I would kill the animal so my wife and my son could eat. I wouldn't have any qualms in doing that at all. But if it was down to me, just for me, I'd be a vegetarian, to be honest with you. I can understand the amount of flatulence that these cows get. I'm used to like fishing, and I've been in a field. The cows, the cows had a quick wind attack, and it's not nice at all. So I can imagine thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah, I get a kick out of that. Like everybody thinks that it's they're saying that it's causing global warming,
Yeah,
like pigs farting. Like, are you serious? Like,
it's
really?
it does seem ridiculous to me. It's this. There's no doubt that there is global warming. All the scientists have proven that. But I think they're all looking in the wrong direction. They're all saying, no, we're doing it. Well, no, hang on a minute. Hold it. I've got nothing to hang me out on there. You say this, and because it's somebody drove their car around the corner, and I can understand it isn't helping, but that isn't down to us. Not 100%. No way near it. So the Earth, when you look back in time, the Earth has always heated up and cooled down and heated up and cooled down. We go on the Earth wobbles as well as spins on its orbit, and it's the wobble that causes these problems. Um, when you look at the Earth, it's spinning like this in front of the sun, beginning in front of the sun, but the Earth also does that. It wobbles, and it's something like 5,000 year a wobble. It is 5,100 and whatever. I didn't know all the numbers, but it's the wobble that heats the world up because we're getting closer to the sun. Um, we've it's always happened, always happened.
Yeah, I'm wanting to actually go over the great year and how the rotation of the Earth is when it comes to the great year. Um, that's one thing that I've always wanted to get into too. And like when you bring that up, it also makes me think of like uh, Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
At one time, a lot of people don't realize it was called the Fertile Crescent for a reason. They had wild lions that used to roam free along the Fertile Crescent, and there was wild animals that was there. And now it's just a desolate desert. And the reason why it became that way was because the Mesopotamians didn't freaking properly irrigate. Their irrigation systems actually ended up being their downfall. It was
Oh,
the
really?
most brilliant, yeah, it was their most brilliant invention, that they gave man. But in the end, it actually was their downfall. That's the reason why their civilizations fell, you know. So I have to go and play video games with rapid glitch. So I'm gonna have to back look out for this, and I will talk to you guys later, okay?
Roger, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. I have to shoot off now as well. I gotta go make food before I get my son.
Well, that sounds good. I'm going to get a cup of tea.
Yeah. I got about several flasks here, show flasks. I just one drink on.
Don't flatulate.
In my youth, it would have been cans of beer.
What's the word? Flatulate.
Flatulate, yeah.
Don't be. Yeah, don't flatulate.
Yeah.
all those flasks sitting around you.
Yeah. I think in our youth, the beer we drank, we must have added quite a bit to global warming back then.
I had to mute because of what he was saying there, because the moment he said the word flatulation, I was like, oh my God, the pigs. I was like, oh man. I laugh every time I hear that.
Fortunately, chat has been very quiet today, but it was quiet last week's episode as well. But it doesn't matter, it takes time. Sometimes chat is really busy, sometimes it's dead. So today is a dead day, which doesn't matter anyway.
Yes.
So,
well,
I have a sneak.
As always.
Yeah, that's been great.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that Vince was watching because he made a post on Discord. So I think he was watching. He might. I don't know for sure. He didn't make a comment, but he did post in Discord. So
okay. Well, there we are. And just to let you know, Mike, what we do with this show, obviously this is aired live on Wonderful World of Weirdness, but what we do as well, we do like backup. We back up everything as well, because YouTube in its wisdom, it doesn't like promote live streams. Once you've done them, that's it. It just goes into the netherworld. Yeah. So what Roger's started it. What we do is we back up all our live streams, but like long live streams like this one, we would split it up probably into 2, sometimes 3 parts, depending on what it is. And we've just put it, we'll say like this is episode 2, then it will be episode 2 part 1, part 2, whatever. That's how we do it, and we air it at different dates throughout the week, just for you to know how we're doing it here, in case you see it on the channel and you think, what's going on? That's to let you know, because the backups, our archive, as Roger calls it, you get far more watches than we do in the live streams, because people can watch it any time, and so that's why we do it that way as well, so you to know.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that's how we're doing it here. So here we are. We'll wrap it up then. Thanks to both of you for being here, and we'll see you hopefully next week, weather permitting, life permitting.
Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye now.